Well, there are challenges in recruiting, certainly. But we have 4 or 5 days this week before the dead period, so we're going to get on that right away. Again, we're going to make sure that we contact the players that are committed so they understand what our core values are, the type of culture that we're going to create here, and the commitment that we have to our student athletes. I'm going to make sure we get out there right away and see those young men. We also have some that are going to come up and visit this weekend, so we'll get off to a fast start, and then we'll regroup during the bowl season, of which I'll be doing mostly just evaluating our current team and starting on the recruiting. And then once the dead period is lifted, we're going to get out there and do everything we can. We are going to fight for every student athlete in the state of Florida. Right now, the University of Miami in the top 100 in the state doesn't have anybody committed in the top 30. We're going to change that. That's going to change tomorrow. And that's going to change every day hereafter until we get it fixed. We're going to recruit this area like crazy. We're also going to recruit in the Northeast, New York City Metro, New Jersey, Eastern PA, Delaware, and down through D.C. We're going to continue to work there to supplement the great talent of the state of Florida. So I hope that gives you an idea of where we're going. Yes, ma'am.
Do you feel it's important to retain some of the current coaches for the players to have continuity and for the sake of recruiting?
Well, we're going to evaluate that. During these practices, I'm going to evaluate every coach and every player. I'm going to sit down with all the coaches, as I will sit down with every player, just to get a good beat on everything. I'm not going to answer that conclusively. I'm going to evaluate those coaches. And if I believe they share my core values, my commitment to recruiting, my commitment to the student-athlete development, then obviously they'll have a chance to stay on with us.
Do you know some of the coaches?
I do. I had Jeff Stoutland. I don't know if Jeff's in the room, but Jeff and I competed against student-athletes for years when he was at Syracuse and Michigan State, and I was at Penn State and Boston College in Virginia. I have a lot of respect for him. I think we sat down and had breakfast one time because we were so tired of just trying to beat each other up over the same kids. So had some interaction with Aubrey Hill in the past. I have a great deal of respect for him. Mike Cassano, John Lovett is somebody that helped me when I was starting to learn to get into coaching. So I do know some of the coaches, and obviously you see a lot of them as professionals. But the bottom line is we have to put the right group together to move the program forward, and we have to get to the bottom of it. And essentially, I think we'll evaluate that here as the time goes on. Thank you very much.
Your name for years has been linked with several marquee openings that have popped up since you were at Temple.
Correct.
Tennessee, UCLA. There's been a perception, of course, that when Coach Paterno leaves Penn State, that would interest you, of course. Why Miami and why now for you?
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? It's the most recognizable brand in college football. Again, I go back to the former players that are here. There's 5 national championships, 20 national award winners, countless All-Americans, incredible tradition. Again, it's a dream job. It's a tremendous opportunity for my family and I to build championships here, to continue the recent success in the classroom, and to give back to the community and be stewards in the community. I think this is just a wonderful, wonderful opportunity. And to me, to be honest with you, I'm the luckiest coach in America today. Again, we're going to work on that. It's sensitive right now, and I'm going to be honest with you. It's a sensitive subject because we have a team right now that's preparing for a bowl game. And we also have a staff that's in place right now. It should give an indication of what type of people, because I don't know if this has ever happened. We're actually discussing it daily. It should give an indication of what type of people you are and what this place is that none of the coaches have left. It should give you an indication. So although that's great, because it's the University of Miami and they don't want to leave, it does present a problem in that I can't add anybody right now, and we don't want to disrupt what's being taken place right now. At the end of the day, and I forgot to mention this earlier for the other kids, to the kids, the student athletes, excuse me, I forgot to mention this. When you do come back, can you please tell them what the Notre Dame game means? Can we please make sure that the student athletes on our football team understand the significance of playing Notre Dame in this game, because that's really important. So I would challenge all the former players to make sure they do that.
Coach, can you give us a sense of your offense and defensive philosophies?
Yeah, the offense is going to be a pro style. Again, most of it's game plan. If you run a pro offense, most of it's game plan. Okay, but whether or not we have a fullback or an extra tight end, I don't know yet. But certainly we're going to deploy some one-back systems as well in terms of being 3 wide or 2 tight ends, whatever the case may be. But the reality is, if you're a pro system, you're really game plan oriented. Okay, you have a certain core that you use, but in essence, it's based on what your opponent does. But I would say that if you had to put a label on it, it would be a pro-style offense. On defense, we operate out of a 4-3, but in this day of so much spread, you have to be able to be flexible. You can't just sit in a 4-3 defense anymore. The teams that have had the best success defensively are teams that can go in and out of an even and odd front with great ease. And the teams that do that the best are having the most success. Because what you see, and it doesn't matter what league you're in, you'll see Georgia Tech running a triple option, you'll see other teams running spread offense, and then you'll see some teams running pro-style 2 backs and trying to run power football. So you have to be multiple because you not only want to pressure, but you have to have the opportunity to drop 8. So in a nutshell, that's kind of what we are. We're not going to really change. But I will say this: think players first, then plays. Think players first, then plays. Al Groh used to always tell me that at the University of Virginia, and it's really true. We have to see what's under the hood here. We have to look at what the players can do best and make sure we get the talent into the game.
Anyone else? Media, we will break off into the corners.
All right, this is Chris Hawkins at U.com. Just what do you know about the team initially right now? Do you know very much about what you have here?
I don't. I know because I've worked like crazy the last day or so, just looking at the depth. I know that it's a fairly young team, just in terms of the structure of the classes. I also know, obviously, that there's 70 scholarship players because we only have 15 to give. So again, that could be good in a transition year, that you don't have a lot to good. We don't have a lot to give, because it means that obviously there's a lot of scholarship players already in the program. So I don't really know much about the individuals. I told them I'm going to make time to not only see them on the field and evaluate them as individuals, but also get to know them, get to know their backgrounds. If I have to get to call their parents, get to know their parents. If I have to visit with parents, we'll do that as well. So I think it's really important that we do that. But for me to assess the talent after a 50-minute meeting with the team, it wouldn't be fair to the student athletes or the coaches.
Michelle Hoffman from Rhine Herald. Can you talk about the struggles with attendance at your school, and the fact that you're coming from another urban school where you've had to share a stadium with
Yeah.
it's sort of known as a pro town? Can you talk about how you address that and how you get the community to jump on board and support you?
Okay, there's 2 issues there. One, and we got to make sure that and I appreciate your question. Michelle, is it? I appreciate your question. There's 2 issues. One, the players can't worry about. Okay, and that is the players can't worry about attendance. The players are in charge of 2 acres and a ball. That's it. And the players got to get to the point where they don't make any excuses. The reason we lose a game is not going to be because of the crowd. Okay, and again, I look at some of these former Canes in the back of the room here. Okay, and I remember coming down here with a Boston College team and with a Virginia team, and the place wasn't full then, but they did us in. They were really good. Okay, and then they had the big, draws, 3 or 4 or 5 times a year, and then they went and played for national titles. So I want to make sure that just because it's your job and it's the athletic administration job, and it's my job to make sure that the attendance is making, taken care of or addressed, that the players understand that that's not the player's job. The player's job is to prepare and not worried about what's being blogged or what's being written or anything. The player's job is to stay focused, stay out of that, and win the game. We can only control what we can control. In terms of getting people in there, we have to improve the team, first and foremost. That's my job. We have to improve the team. So we have to improve the team. Kirby's got a tremendous schedule moving forward. Ohio State coming in next year. We're always going to play those kind of intersectional games. Am I allowed to say some of these other games that are coming here? So I'm already in trouble. So all I'm saying is the players can't worry about that. But in terms of us, the athletic administration, the support of the alums, myself, where the players can help is getting out in the community, making sure the people understand what we're all about, having gratitude, being stewards in the community, giving back to the community. And I think that's one way to bring the entire community together. So I think all of that collectively and the efforts of the great people here in athletic administration, I think we'll be able to tackle that.
Coach, Jim Barry, CBS Sports. Welcome to my.
Thank you very much.
And let's cut to the chase. How soon before you win that national championship?
How soon? Again, I want to make sure you understand that our goal is going to be to win a national championship. And that's going to go in the board, in that locker room, right off the get-go. So we're not going to wait to say when we're going to go after it. We're going to start going after it. But again, for me to make a prediction without seeing the team, I can't do that. But I will tell you that that's the only expectation for anybody in this room. And whether you support a player, or you're an academic support, or you're the trainer, or you're the manager, whatever the case may be, there's only going to be one standard. And that standard is going to be excellence. And that standard is going to be to uphold the legacy left by so many great teams in the past, and we will do that.
Coach, this is Gerard Daphnis on behalf of myself and the other former players in this room. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Gary Furman, Kingsport.com. Spoke to a lot of people about you in the last day or two, and everybody talks about what a tenacious recruiter that you are, and how you've made a reputation around the country for recruiting. Talk a little bit about where that comes from, that desire. It's not always a fun role for a coach to get out and compete, especially in college football. Talk a little bit about where that comes from.
You know where it comes from? It comes from when you're entering the profession. Very quickly, coaches, older coaches, a generation ahead of you, want to put you in one of two categories: an X and O guy or a recruiter. And what I noticed early on is that the greatest coaches in this business are great at both. They're great at both. You can name them. I'm not going to name them because I don't want to name those other schools, okay? But the best coaches in this business are understand that without the acquisition and development of talent, that their X's and O's are for nothing. And I think that's something that I learned early on, and obviously I've been blessed. I've been blessed to have worked with two college football Hall of Fame coaches, George Welsh at Virginia and Joe Paterno at Penn State. I've had the opportunity to be around Al Groh and Bill Parcells and work with at Boston College. So I've been blessed with great mentors, and I just think I've learned early on that you got to be great at both to be standing here.
Coach, Steve Gordon from the Sun Sentinel. Can you recount your first meeting with Kirby, just what that was like, and what you feel this could be a good fit down here?
Well, I had a chance to meet Kirby previously a couple of times. So I just think he knew what he was looking for. He knew exactly what he was looking for. I admired his courage. He wasn't really interested in what everybody was saying or what everybody was thinking. He had a plan in his mind of attack and what he was looking. He was very thorough, very professional. He's poised behind it beyond his years, to be quite honest with you. And And I could tell early on that there was a connection there for us, and that I think I had three things that he was looking for. I think I was a good coach, I had the best plan for the University of Miami football team, and I wanted to be here. I had all three, and I'm blessed to be here.
I have another question over here. You talked before about the former players and how you want them to get more involved. A, can you talk about, do you get the sense that some of the alumni and former players have dropped off and have not been as supportive? And also, what do you think they bring? What do you think having all those guys on the sideline and around practices can bring the team?
Well, number one, when teams have maybe not achieving, teams are not achieving the level of success that they're used to, there may be a disconnect. So when I said earlier, I want to make sure the kids don't operate out of a sense of entitlement, but rather out of responsibility, that's what I'm talking about. To make sure they understand that you don't just come in and win championships because you have the U on. There's a lot that goes into that. And I don't want, just because it's packaged on the NFL Network or on ESPN and they see some of these guys on how they played, I don't want that. I've seen a lot of these guys practice. I've seen their workouts. I've seen the commitment that they've made, the film study, the toughness of some of the players. And that's what it's all about. That kind of energy, that kind of attitude, that kind of toughness. And I'm not saying that doesn't exist. I'm saying that it may. And if it does, we're going to get it fixed. And one of the ways to get it fixed is to make sure that we get those guys who built the program back in front of the team and tell them this is the way it was. And what I mean by entitlement is, they might be listening to somebody say, well, we don't have this stadium, or we don't have this facility, or we don't have that. And you got to have a no excuse mentality. So to get those players back in front, to honor them, and the level that they created, the standard that they set, I think it's really important. And obviously, if we have NFL players coming back and working out, they'll understand what it takes. They'll see. Because right now, I don't know if they understand. And we'll make sure that we do that.
Coach, in the back, Ian Hess with the Miami Hurricane. Thank you. You had a couple high-profile recruits that had a great relationship with the previous coaching situation. And since then, they've sort of wavered in their recruitment. How are you going to address to get them back on board?
Well, again, there's two things in play. Well, maybe there's three things. All right? They wanted to play football here. They wanted to go to the University of Miami, which again is just an incredible opportunity for young people. And then three, there's a connection to whoever represents the University of Miami for the other kids. So right now we have two of the three in place. And what we have to do now is reconnect and make sure that the young man understands what our philosophy is going to be and what our core values are going to be and the commitment that we're going to have to them academically, socially, and athletically. And I think once they understand our culture and our core values, I think we'll be able to reconnect. And we're going to do that as quickly as we can. But I can't comment on any individual student athletes, as you know, by the NCAA rules, but we're going to do whatever it takes. And we're going to go after everybody. We're going to go after any and every player that we want or that we think shares those values and can help us win a championship.
Anyone else? Media will break off into two segments, but first we've got a couple players in the back while Coach Kirby introduce themselves to a couple people. Players in the back available for you immediately.